And that's another thing we need to talk about here is the
Oh,
inclusion of Carrie Fisher. I don't even want to
oh,
talk about it that much, but we have to say it.
yeah.
She's in this movie and in it a lot. And it's really nasty. It does not feel
It
respectful
feels
at all.
gross the
Because
whole
she's just like
time.
shoehorned into it, and she's like an AI person. I'm just like, oh my God, like, why are we doing this? Why does this need to be a thing? Like, just let the woman rest in peace. Like, pay her some respect. They should have just opened the movie with her funeral and just said she died. That's
Yep.
what I would have done. Like, she's gone now, and we're all gonna have a sad, heartfelt moment,
Yeah.
the moment of silence at the beginning of this movie to do a proper send off. They bury her, or they do the pyre thing because that's what they do for the Jedi, right? So I would just do one of those scenes to start the movie off, and then be like, okay, now we're moving on. And
Which I
Yeah.
think, if I'm not mistaken, I think she died in the middle of filming Last Jedi. And Last Jedi has that
Yes.
scene where she gets sucked out in space or whatever. So I thought when I was watching
as
the movie,
everyone did,
I was
this
like,
is her
oh,
death scene.
this is it. Killed by her son. And was like, all right,
But
it's
then
got
he had
some
to Mary
emotional impact.
Poppins her back in.
Yeah, and then
Right.
she comes back and you're like, ugh, why would you? You had it. You should have just taken that chance.
Yeah.
And then you get to this film, and she's clearly already gone before the starting of filming this movie because
Right.
what they had done was taking a bunch of clips that hadn't been in Force Awakens, but
Right.
were filmed on the set of Force Awakens, and just pushed them into this.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the lines don't make a lot of sense. She doesn't have any like clear
They're
dialogue.
super generic.
Yeah, that's real janky looking.
Yeah.
And it just feels wrong as you're watching it.
Yeah,
Like,
it feels
why?
so wrong.
Why'd you guys put her here? Just you didn't have to do this.
Yeah, just as like artistic practice, because it's not like you're writing a book where you could just do whatever with your characters. They
Right.
don't exist. But when you're working with a movie, you have real actors
Right.
here, and they become part of that conversation. And
Yeah.
what bothers me so much is that you're taking this person who's not committed to this project, who can't be here to actually satisfy the role,
Yep.
and yet you're like, power on through. So the way I see it, you get two choices. Either you hire a new actor to play the character,
Sure.
or you just end things and move on. And it's the same problem with Rogue One, because they have to bring Grand Moff Tarkin back. And I'm like, can you just find an actor who looks kind of like him?
Right.
And I don't want to harp on it, but it's just like, it's just such a weird, like, it's just clear to Disney. It's so important to us that you see the character exactly as they were.
Right.
And, screw the actor getting a new actor who could get paid for this project. Forget that noise. Screw the actor's rights.
CGI
They're
monstrosity,
dead, but
baby.
I own them. I own them, and so I can put them in there in my movie to make my profit. And I hate that. I think it's so underhanded and scummy. I just can't stand it.
It does make one wonder where the line is. And not to jump too far into a philosophical topic at the end of this, but
yeah,
it does make you wonder, like, well, what is okay to do? Because, I think they used AI versions of James Earl Jones' voice, but he's not dead. Obviously, he's just done acting.
Yeah.
Did
he approve that?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He was fine with it.
As long as he gave his approval.
Well, I wonder if Carrie Fisher also gave her approval. But
did she give her approval to be an AI person, or did she sign up, say like, yes, I will act in that movie, and then die before she was? You know what I'm saying? Because like,
and her daughter was in the film too, so I'm assuming that she had some kind of a say in the rights to her likeness or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming Disney has rights to her likeness, but also that just feels kind of like,
yeah, I just don't think I don't think that's something you should be allowed to like even sell. It's kind of like, there are certain things where it's just like you're asking a person to give up something of their dignity. So you just shouldn't even ask. It doesn't matter that you could. It's kind of like a Faustian argument, right? It's like he sells his soul to the devil.
Right.
And like anytime that happens in his story, it's just like, ugh, like you shouldn't have even asked for that. It's too precious of a thing. And
well, that's the point of that argument.
That.
Yeah.
It's just like, ugh.
Yeah. I mean, an argument can be made there. With this film specifically.
Yeah, I'm getting into my personal sensibilities, but I just felt like it was super
Well,
disrespectful.
just within this film, I think an argument can be made that it was done inappropriately, disrespectfully, and it wasn't a great send off in the first place.
Yeah.
Like there was no respect paid at all.
Uh-huh.
Like I think of a scene where, like when Dumbledore dies or something, like it makes sure to just stop the movie, and it's like we're all gonna remember what this character meant to Harry and to us, and we're all gonna pay respects.
Well, even then, case in point, the original actor for Dumbledore did die.
Oh, and they switched
and
over.
They had a new actor play Dumbledore, and like, yeah, it's a transition, it's different, but like, I mean, what do you do? He's not with us anymore. Like, we still need the character.
Right.
I don't think he would have been like, oh, no more Harry Potter films. If you don't have me as Dumbledore, you can't make any more Harry Potter. It's all over for everybody. Like, who would think that? That's crazy.
And arguably, you have more to work with here because of modern technology, and you have a bunch of footage that you can play with and stuff. It just... So my argument with this movie specifically would be, they knew that she had passed away before the filming.
Right.
And at that point, what should have happened was that, okay, we are just going to pay homage to Carrie Fisher.
Right.
And if she had just shown up as like a Force ghost or something, or whatever, something to kind of like, it's almost a nod from the film. This is one time I'd be okay with like a meta type thing. A nod to the audience as to like, this is my farewell kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Then at least you could be like, all right, this is kind of her goodbye and like ours to her. Right. Yeah. As fans of the films for however long, like we can acknowledge this passing. But instead they make her like this character.
Yeah,
she tries to be
she's like
active,
a mentor character. She's then, like a big role in the story. And it's like, what are we doing?
And then she dies with her son or whatever, and it like takes him off, and it's just weird. Like it's not. It didn't make any sense. It wasn't done in a respectful manner. It didn't feel like okay, we have released Leia as the character now. We've laid her to rest. It was kind of like, she's dead now. She's dead in universe and in real life. She's gone. Let's move on. Like we got the rest of this movie to get to. And I was like, ooh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it felt wrong in Last Jedi, and it really felt wrong in this movie.
Yeah,
on a lot of different levels.
Yeah, I mean, Rian Johnson, I guess, started that because he didn't properly resolve the character, like he should have done when she actually
Mary Poppins
pass.
Baby.
Yeah, exactly. But then then it's like Abrams just perpetuates it. Like, why didn't you put a stop to this and be like, no, we're done. Like, we have to do a different story.